Am I the asshole for letting my partner starve? I came home from work around midnight, utterly exhausted and nursing a pounding headache. Because of the summer heat, my partner and I had been camping out in the living room with the air conditioner on. When I walked in, he was sitting on his gaming console, which is typical for that hour since his friends are online. I stripped out of my work clothes, collapsed onto the mattress next to him, and asked if he'd mind heating up my leftover Chinese food while I grabbed my phone. He agreed, and I thanked him. That set off a chain reaction. Suddenly, he was pacing around the room trying to figure out what to eat. I listed off effortless options: instant noodles, oatmeal, frozen meals, or even rice with some canned mackerel, onions, and tomatoes. He turned his nose up at everything, put on clothes, and asked if he could run to the gas station for snacks. I laughed lightheartedly at first. You're a grown man with 2 legs, who's going to stop you? But then came the familiar pleading look. He hadn't thought about eating until I walked through the door, a habit he falls into constantly. I put my foot down. I told him I wasn't giving him money for gas station runs when our kitchen was stocked with 5 dozen eggs, a rice cooker, and frozen meat. I reminded him that my stinginess was the only reason we weren't buried in debt after I recently took out a personal loan to get him a used car. He slumped onto the couch, sighing dramatically about how hungry he was. When he asked me to cook, I compromised. I offered to wash the pots and start the rice if he cooked the meat. He refused. So, you're just going to let me starve? He asked. No, I replied. You're choosing to starve yourself because you refuse to make something when you easily can. He insisted he wasn't going to cook and told me to drop it. I refused to let him use my credit card for junk food, especially when he regularly lectures me about spending money or not eating. In reality, I can count on one hand how many times he's cooked for us all year. I finished my food in front of the television while he mopped. Eventually, he retreated to the bedroom, complaining that he now had a headache and that the light hurt his eyes. I feel guilty seeing him miserable, but I am burned out. He has been between jobs for a month after a situation with his Amazon employment fell through. Before this, he handled the major bills while I covered groceries, car repairs, and smaller utilities on my part-time paycheck. But I'm tired of being the only one responsible for feeding us after a long shift, especially when the food is right there in the kitchen. So, am I the asshole?